Embracing the unyielding mirror, the lessons of life's staunch realities. In our voyage through life, we often find ourselves at the mercy of truths that are difficult to digest. These truths, harsh as they may seem, are not meant to deter us but to challenge and ultimately aid in our growth. We live in a world that cushions us with comfort and instant gratification, yet it is within the discomfort that we often find the seeds of our true potential. Let us begin with the realization that life is inherently unfair. From the moment we draw our first breath, we are not guaranteed equality of condition, opportunity, or outcome. It is a stark reality that we all must face. Some are born into abundance, while others into scarcity. It is easy to become embittered by the hand we're dealt, but within this harsh truth lies a profound lesson. We are not defined by the circumstances of our birth, but by how we navigate the waters of disparity. How do we then, in the face of such inequality, find the strength to forge our path? Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Moreover, consider the truth that suffering is a universal aspect of the human experience. No wealth, status, or power can render us immune to pain. It is a common thread that binds us all. But why must we experience suffering? Is it merely a cruel twist of fate, or could it be a crucible for our development? It is through suffering that we often gain our deepest insights and cultivate empathy and resilience. When was the last time adversity didn't precede a period of significant personal growth? In the realms of relationships, the reality that not everyone we care for will reciprocate our feelings or intentions can be particularly jarring. We invest our hearts and souls into bonds only to find that some will unravel despite our best efforts. This unpalatable truth, however, teaches us about the nature of attachment and the importance of letting go. How do we then maintain an open heart while accepting the transient nature of relationships? Another unyielding truth is that failure is an integral part of the journey to success. We live in a society that often shuns failure, equating it to a lack of ability or worth. Yet, it is through our failures that we are given the opportunity to learn and refine our approach. Every great inventor, artist, and thinker has faced failure, not once but multiple times. What then is the true purpose of failure, and how can we embrace it as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block? Lastly, we must confront the reality that control is an illusion. We exert so much effort in trying to control every aspect of our lives, from our careers to our personal relationships. Yet, time and time again, life demonstrates that the unexpected is to be expected. How do we find peace in the understanding that some things are beyond our control, and what wisdom can we draw from embracing the flow of life rather than resisting it? As we reflect on these truths, we realize that they are not meant to discourage, but to enlighten. They are the silent teachers that accompany us along the path, ever present, challenging us to grow beyond what we once thought possible. The realization of life's harsh realities is not the end of our journey, but rather the beginning of a profound transformation. And so, we must ask, what strength can we draw from acknowledging these truths, and how can they shape our journey forward? The unseen strength in vulnerability. Redefining courage. Stepping into the next reflection, let us consider the strength that lies within vulnerability. It's a concept that may seem counterintuitive at first glance. We tend to associate vulnerability with weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. Yet, it is within this very state that we uncover the essence of true courage and the potential for deeper connections with others. Vulnerability requires us to open ourselves up to the possibility of hurt, rejection, and failure. It asks us to strip away the masks we wear and present our authentic selves to the world. What could be more brave than that? When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we also open the door to genuine intimacy, to love that is not predicated on pretense, but is rooted in the reality of who we truly are. Moreover, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation and creativity. Every creative endeavor begins with someone daring to present an idea that could very well be met with criticism or indifference. Yet, without this willingness to be vulnerable, to potentially fail, we would be devoid of the many advancements and artistic expressions that we hold dear. What then can we achieve if we dare to embrace our vulnerability and step into the arena of the unknown? Let us also consider the paradox that while we may crave certainty and security, it is often the unpredictable and uncertain that catalyzes our growth. We are creatures of habit, finding comfort in routines and the familiar. However, life has a way of upending our best-laid plans, thrusting us into situations where we must adapt and learn. How can we harness the power of uncertainty, allowing it to shape us rather than break us? In the same vein, the quest for perfection is one that can lead to immense dissatisfaction and a sense of never arriving at our destination. The harsh truth is that perfection is an illusion, an unreachable standard that can keep us trapped in a cycle of perpetual striving and self-criticism. What if instead we aimed for progress, for the beauty of imperfection that makes each of our journeys unique and meaningful? Additionally, there is the truth that our time here is finite. Our days are numbered, a reality we often seek to ignore or downplay. However, the acknowledgement of our mortality can serve as a powerful motivator to live more fully, to prioritize what truly matters, and to leave a legacy that outlasts our physical presence. How then can we live in a way that honors the preciousness of each moment we are given? Each of these truths challenges us to look beyond the superficial, to dive into the depths of what it means to be human. They ask us to redefine our understanding of strength, success, and fulfillment. In doing so, we unlock the potential not only for personal growth but for a collective evolution of consciousness. As we peel back the layers of our being, we find that the very things that challenge us are also the gateways to our most profound growth. The journey is not easy. It demands resilience, patience, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable. Yet, it is within this journey that we discover the boundless capacity of the human spirit to overcome, to adapt, and to thrive. The Tapestry of Acceptance, weaving growth from the fibers of truth. Moving deeper into the essence of our existence, let us explore the concept of acceptance. Acceptance does not mean resignation or a passive acquiescence to the circumstances we face. Rather, it is an active recognition of reality, a foundational step towards effecting change. It is a powerful stance from which we can navigate the complexities of life with grace and composure. The first layer of acceptance we must grapple with is accepting ourselves, flaws and all. Our culture is saturated with ideals of what it means to be successful, beautiful, or happy. These external standards can lead to a rejection of our authentic selves. True growth begins with accepting who we are at our core, recognizing our weaknesses, and celebrating our strengths. How can we use acceptance as a catalyst for transforming self-doubt into self-empowerment? Furthermore, we must come to terms with the reality that we cannot change others. Each person is on their unique journey, with their lessons to learn. As much as we might want to steer loved ones away from potential pitfalls, acceptance allows us to offer guidance without attachment to the outcome. What does it mean to truly support others in their growth while respecting their autonomy? In addition to self and others, there is the acceptance of the flow of life. Life is akin to a river, sometimes calm, sometimes tumultuous, always in motion. We are tasked with learning how to navigate its currents, to go with the flow without losing sight of our direction. When we accept life's ebb and flow, we can respond with agility and creativity. How can acceptance of life's unpredictability transform our experience of the journey? We also encounter the necessity of accepting that growth is not linear. Our culture prizes quick fixes and direct paths to success, but our personal development does not adhere to such a straightforward pattern. There will be setbacks and plateaus, times when it feels as though we are making no progress at all. Yet, these periods of stillness and regression are often when the deepest growth is taking place, beneath the surface. What might happen if we embrace the non-linear nature of our growth and trusted in the process? Lastly, there is the acceptance of the interconnectedness of all things. We are part of a vast and intricate web of life, where each action has a ripple effect. This truth calls us to live with intention and mindfulness, recognizing that what we do matters not just for ourselves but for the world at large. How can this understanding of interconnectedness guide our choices and actions in a more conscious and compassionate manner? Acceptance is not a passive state but a dynamic one. It is the loom upon which we can weave a life of intentionality and purpose. By accepting the harsh truths of life, we are not surrendering to them but rather acknowledging their presence. This acknowledgement is the first step towards transformation. It is the soil in which the seeds of change are planted and from which the blossoms of growth can emerge. Each moment of acceptance is an opportunity to weave a new pattern in the tapestry of our lives, to create something beautiful and enduring from the fibers of truth. It is an act of courage to face reality head-on and choose to grow from it. The illuminating darkness, finding wisdom in the shadows. In the pursuit of wisdom, we often discover that it is not solely found in the light of triumphs and joy, but also within the shadows of our struggles and fears. There is a profound depth to the darker aspects of life, a depth that holds invaluable lessons for those willing to look beyond the surface. One of the most challenging truths we face is that our greatest fears often hold the key to our liberation. Fear can be a paralyzing force, steering us away from taking risks or pursuing our dreams. Yet, when we confront our fears, when we hold them up to the light of our consciousness, they begin to lose their power over us. How can we learn to approach our fears as teachers rather than adversaries? In the realm of personal growth, we also confront the uncomfortable truth that true change often requires us to let go of old identities and beliefs. We become attached to the familiar, even when it no longer serves us, because it feels safe. Yet, growth demands that we shed our outdated skins to make way for the new. This process can be painful, akin to the rebirth of a phoenix from the ashes. What transformations await us on the other side of this metamorphosis? Moreover, the acknowledgement that we all have a shadow side, a part of us that we prefer to keep hidden, is crucial for our growth. Our shadow encompasses traits and impulses that we deem undesirable. However, embracing our shadow is an essential step towards wholeness. When we recognize and integrate these aspects, we gain a more comprehensive understanding of ourselves. How can the acceptance and integration of our shadow lead to greater authenticity and self-acceptance? We must also grapple with the truth that sometimes our biggest obstacle is ourselves. Our limiting beliefs and self-imposed barriers often hold us back more than any external circumstances. It takes considerable self-reflection and honesty to identify the ways in which we sabotage our progress. How can we break free from the chains of our self-imposed limitations and step into our full potential? Lastly, there is the wisdom to be found in the impermanence of all things. Everything in life is transient: our experiences, possessions, and even our relationships. This realization can lead to existential angst or a profound appreciation for the present. If we choose the latter, we cultivate a sense of gratitude and presence that enriches our lives beyond measure. How can the acceptance of impermanence enhance our daily experience and deepen our appreciation for the now? These shadows, these darker aspects of our experience, are not meant to be feared or avoided. They are rich with potential, with the power to transform us in ways we could never imagine. It is only by walking through the darkness that we can truly appreciate the light. Each step we take in the shadows strengthens us, hones our vision, and prepares us for the brightness that awaits. As we journey through these deeper truths, it becomes clear that growth is not merely about accumulating knowledge or achieving outward success. It is about expanding our consciousness, embracing all facets of our experience, and evolving into the fullest expression of ourselves. The harmonious balance, integrating life's contradictions. Life, in its vast and intricate design, is full of contradictions. It is through the delicate balancing of these opposing forces that we come to find harmony within ourselves and with the world around us. The integration of life's paradoxical truths is not just an intellectual exercise. It is a profound journey that touches every aspect of our being. Consider the balance between detachment and engagement. On one hand, we are told to live passionately, to engage deeply with our pursuits and relationships. On the other hand, wisdom teaches us the value of detachment, of not being overly bound to outcomes or the fluctuating tides of our emotions. How do we navigate this balance? It is by fully immersing ourselves in the present moment while holding the awareness that everything is transient that we find the equilibrium between these two states. Similarly, we face the challenge of balancing self-improvement with self-acceptance. We are on a continuous journey towards bettering ourselves, yet this journey must be underpinned by a fundamental acceptance of who we are at our core. This acceptance is not complacency. It is the grounding from which our aspirations can take flight. How can we cultivate a loving acceptance of ourselves while also striving to grow and improve? The reconciliation of freedom and responsibility is another nuanced dance. We cherish our freedom, the ability to make choices and carve our own paths. Yet, with freedom comes responsibility, the acknowledgement that our choices have consequences and that we are accountable for our actions. How do we embrace our freedom while also upholding our responsibilities to ourselves and to others? In the realm of relationships, we learn to balance giving with receiving. Relationships are a reciprocal dance of support and nurturing. While it is virtuous to give, we must also be open to receiving, to allow others the gift of being there for us. This reciprocal exchange fosters deeper connections and a sense of mutual respect and appreciation. How can we ensure that we are not just givers or takers, but active participants in a cycle of generosity and gratitude? Lastly, there is the grand balancing act between change and constancy. The world is in a state of perpetual change, yet within this flux we seek anchors, values, relationships, and purposes that provide a sense of continuity? How do we embrace the inevitability of change while maintaining a sense of stability and coherence in our lives? The integration of these contradictions is not about choosing one truth over another, but rather about weaving them together into a cohesive whole. It is a dynamic process, one that requires mindfulness, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace complexity. As we become more adept at navigating these paradoxes, we find that they are not pulling us in opposite directions, but rather they are guiding us towards a center point of wisdom. This center point is where peace resides, where the static of conflicting impulses fades into a symphony of orchestrated balance.